Welcome to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into a topic that's keeping enterprise leaders up at night. AI governance and maturity for enterprises in 2026, with a focus on the Utrecht and broader European perspective. Sam, we're talking about a really critical moment for organizations right now, aren't we?
Absolutely. And what's striking is the disconnect. 73% of European enterprises say AI governance is their top barrier to scaling, but only 31% have actual formal frameworks in place. That's a massive gap, especially with the EU AI Act enforcement phases kicking in. For organizations in Utrecht and across the Netherlands, this isn't theoretical anymore.
Right, and that's why 2026 feels like an inflection point. We moved past the experimentation phase. Now it's about operationalization within regulatory boundaries. Can you give our listeners a sense of what's at stake here?
The fines alone are sobering. 30 million or 6% of global revenue, whichever is higher, for non-compliance. But here's the deeper issue. 67% of European enterprises actually underestimate the governance complexity required. They think it's a compliance checkbox, not an organizational transformation. And retrofitting governance into legacy AI systems costs 3 to 5 times more than building it in from the start.
That's a huge cost multiplier. So organizations that delay are basically taking on technical debt that compounds. Let's talk about what maturity actually looks like. You've got a maturity model here. Can you walk us through the levels?
Sure. Level 1 is reactive, completely ad hoc deployments with no centralized governance. AI initiatives are siloed by department, no model registry, no data strategy. Most enterprises that started their AI journey in 2024-2025 are still here, honestly.
That sounds chaotic. What does level 2 look like?
Level 2 is managed. You've got an AI steering committee, basic data cataloging, documented processes. But here's the problem. Governance is still departmental. Your BIM AI team operates with different standards than your marketing automation team. You're organized but not unified.
So you're not breaking down the silos yet. What about level 3?
That's where it gets interesting. Level 3 is optimized, true enterprise-wide orchestration. You've got integrated workflows across hybrid environments, AI agents orchestrating data pipelines, automated compliance reporting. This is where market leaders operate in 2026. You have an AI lead architecture framework that governs system design consistently across all implementations.
And level 4, that's the aspirational one?
Level 4 is predictive, continuous optimization with agentic AI systems that are essentially self-auditing and adapting in real time. Most organizations won't reach that in 2026, but it's the direction the market is moving.
Okay, so let me ground this in the Utrecht and AEC context specifically, because that's a real vertical here. Why is governance maturity especially urgent for construction and real estate sectors?
Great question. AI systems in AEC, design optimization, carbon compliance analysis, safety prediction, these fall under the EU AI Act's high-risk classification. So you're not just dealing with general governance requirements, you're dealing with sector-specific, high-stakes compliance. Organizations in Utrecht's booming development market are deploying AI in areas where regulatory scrutiny is intense.
So they can't hide behind it's still experimental. They need governance now.
Exactly. And there's another layer, ESG mandates and carbon reporting. If you're an AEC firm using AI for carbon compliance analysis, that output needs to be auditable, explainable, and compliant. You can't just hand a model's prediction to stakeholders without governance infrastructure behind it.
So governance isn't just a legal thing. It's about trustworthiness and stakeholder confidence. Let me ask you this. McKinsey found that 62% of AI projects fail at scale due to governance gaps, not technical ones. That's surprising to people, I think. Why is governance the actual bottleneck, not the technology?
Because scaling AI is an organizational problem, not an engineering problem. You can build a brilliant model in a lab, but scaling it means integrating it with legacy systems, managing data quality across departments, auditing decisions, handling model drift, ensuring compliance reporting. That's not about better algorithms. It's about processes, accountability, and orchestration.
So a technically impressive model that can't be explained or audited is worse than useless. It's a liability.
Right. And in high-risk domains like AEC, that's catastrophic. If your AI system recommends a structural design and something fails, you need a clear audit trail. You need to know what data was used, how the model was trained, who validated it. Without governance, you're exposed.
All right, so organizations need to move from that reactive, siloed level 1 toward at least level 3. What's the actual pathway? How do enterprises in Utrecht start building governance maturity?
Start with a formal AI readiness scan. Most enterprises skip this, which is why 67% underestimate complexity. You need to understand where you are. What AI systems are currently deployed? What data are they using? Who's accountable? What compliance requirements apply? That foundation is non-negotiable.
So assess the current state, honestly.
Yes. Then establish an AI lead architecture framework, essentially a set of standards for how AI systems are designed, deployed, and monitored across the enterprise. This is about creating consistency, not restricting innovation. Next, you need centralized data governance. You can't do AI governance without knowing what data you have, where it came from, and how it's being used.
And those three things, readiness scan, architecture framework, data governance, those start moving you toward level 2 or early level 3?
Exactly. From there, you layer in model governance, registries, versioning, audit trails. You establish who approves models for production, who monitors them for drift, who handles incidents. You automate compliance reporting where possible. That's enterprise-wide orchestration.
And the timeline? If a company is at level 1 right now, how long does this typically take?
Realistically, moving from level 1 to level 3 takes 12 to 24 months, depending on organizational complexity and legacy system debt. But here's the thing. Organizations that wait until 2027 or 2028 are going to be under much tighter pressure and higher costs. 2026 is actually the sweet spot for getting ahead of enforcement.
So procrastination is expensive. Let me ask about hybrid architectures, because the blog mentions hybrid environments. Why is that relevant?
Most enterprises operate in hybrid environments, on-premises legacy systems, cloud platforms, edge deployment, sometimes partner systems. Governance has to span all of that. You need model governance whether your AI system is running on your servers or in a cloud environment. You need data governance across all sources. A siloed governance approach breaks down immediately in hybrid setups.
So hybrid is the reality, and governance has to account for that complexity.
Right. And for AEC firms specifically, this might mean AI running on site for real-time safety monitoring, in the cloud for design optimization, and integrated with legacy CAD systems. Governance needs to work across all three without creating friction.
That's a genuine technical and organizational challenge. Sam, what's the one thing you'd tell an enterprise leader in Utrecht who's just realized they're at level 1 and feeling panicked?
Don't try to leap to level 3 overnight. Start with the readiness scan. Really understand your current state. Pick one high-risk AI system as your pilot for governance implementation. Build governance practices there, document what works, and scale. The urgency is real, but the pathway is sequential. You build capability step by step.
So methodical progress beats rushed chaos.
Absolutely. And second point, treat your AI lead architect or governance lead role as strategic, not administrative. This needs executive sponsorship and cross-functional buy-in. It's not a compliance team in a corner. It's central to how the organization operates.
That's critical. Organizations that treat governance as a checkbox versus a strategic capability are going to have very different outcomes. Sam, thanks for walking through this. For our listeners who want to dig deeper into specific strategies, maturity assessments, and Utrecht-specific case studies, the full article is available on etherlink AI. You'll find frameworks, compliance checklists, and practical pathways to maturity. That's EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Alex. And to our listeners in the AEC, energy, and digital-first sectors, governance maturity in 2026 isn't a nice-to-have. It's how you compete responsibly and compliantly. Get the full article on etherlink.ai.